This is a chunk. I gotta give you a sniff before I let you. You're eating a little everything. I swear, you smell the breath, you know what to throw. Let's look at that beauty. 7 gets him. 7 has drawing power. Alright, 4th one, 18 inches or better on the smallest bait. And it was the second pass on this particular bank. Let's go ahead and let her back in. Hey folks, gonna do a little bit of tackle craft before the next trip out. I did get a new mold here. This one lets you use these FG12 bristle guards, and I'm gonna be pouring them with the Owner 5318 hook. One of the stickiest hooks I've ever worked with, and I just like the protection of having a little bit of a bristle guard split out there to protect against snags in the brush. I'll be rigging the new Z-Man llama tubes, these 2-inch tubes. It's just something that if you put it in front of a river smallmouth, they will not turn it down. All right, so I've already poured and rigged a couple of these. I ended up using the size 1. Owner 5318. All right, let's go ahead and put this one in. I think we're going to put it in the size 16 there. It calls for a number 4 hook. Ignore that. I think the size 1 is the right one for this application. Put the FG12 in there. I'm just letting the lead pour around that because I'm not actually painting these. And we'll go ahead and lift that. That's enough time to fill it, and we'll take a look at what we got, see if we got a complete pour, and that actually looks pretty good. Yep. All right, getting a little bit earlier start than I have been. Just felt like I don't know. We've had a little bit cooler air move through, and we've had a lot of moisture, a lot of fog. I kind of want to have a really good topwater morning, so I think we're going to have that today. It takes quite a while for the fog to burn off, especially in these mountain valleys, and fog's thick enough this morning. I kind of need the windshield wipers. So once the fog does clear off and I've enjoyed my topwater morning, I'm gonna test out a bunch of different llama tubes and jig heads, and I'll show you a different kind of rigging. Kind of adding something to it to make it a little bit bulkier, and I also have, I think, 2 different weights, and then 2 different sizes of hooks, so 4 different options to play around with in terms of jig head and weight combination, just to kind of get a sense for, hey, which one really feels right. So as I get everything ready, actually once I'm done getting everything ready, we're going to talk about 2 pieces of gear. 1, my footwear once I'm out there, and 2, my eyewear, which really helps me with the sight fishing I'm going to be doing today in this really low, clear conditions. So some little detail of the transport safety that I want to point out. I put these anchors on the front and the back, on the Anchor Wizard and the Scotty anchor boom here, and what I don't want is for the Anchor Wizard clutch here to loosen up and this to go cannonballing down the highway through someone's windshield, hitting him in the face and killing him. So I do give myself slack when I transport, and I wrap it around things. So if you see me undoing this, that is why. So here's a fun little trick that I've figured out that helps in launching a little bit quicker with this trailer. I take this off. Now, if the kayak is on the on a slope, the rock and rollers, this kayak is going to easily shoot off of there. So I'll take the leash, I'm going to slide over here, and basically toss it in there and shut it, and this thing is not going to get away from me, at least too far. Alright, let's talk about shoes. On the way to the river, Olukai, these flip-flops are the most comfortable thing to come into contact with my foot, but they're not appropriate for once I'm out there. Once I'm out there, what I need is something that covers my toe, that has good grip, that drains very well, and I'll provide the I'm not going to be providing an affiliate link or a discount code. I buy these the same as you would, and they're not something that is highly promoted. There's something that they're made in China. It's obvious from the fact that it says fashion on the side of it, but they work. And I've gone through lots of different types of footwear for my style of kayak fishing, which is in and out of the kayak quite a bit. Dragging the boat, climbing over ledge rocks, just I'm in the water a lot. And what I like about these in particular is that they've held up. I bought one pair and it lasted, it's actually still good, and it lasted me 2.5 years. And I said, I better buy these again. And I bought 2 more pair. It took a while to get them because I think they wait for the order to come in, then they make them in China, and it takes forever to get here. But I like them because the sole hasn't separated from the upper. I like that they are fairly thin on the bottom, and I know there are options that have thicker padding. That's a mistake. You want thin, and this kind of goes back to when I was running a lot. I actually did a half marathon. It's been a long time since I did that, but the running shoes I liked were fairly thin. The advantage of that is that you, with a thinner sole, you feel what's going on underneath you a little bit better, and these really fit that bill. So I've been happy with them. They've held up, and you know, they're good for what I do. All right, one more item, gear talk wise. I will tell you, I'm only posting these because people ask in the comments all the time, like, hey, what are those sunglasses? What are those shoes? So I wouldn't be pushing this on you if it weren't something I routinely see in the comment section, people asking. But these are the Hobie Eyewear Bluefins, and it's the copper Sightmaster Plus lenses. They're amazing. They really help you see. They help you with sight fishing quite a bit. This shape fits my face very well. And one thing I'll tell you is you got to try on a bunch. You got to go to a dealer and try them to see if they fit your face. These fit my face, and I like as big a lens as I possibly can. I really don't like any frame getting in the way in creating a blind spot or something I can't see. So this gives me the most surface area. I don't think they actually make this exact pair anymore. They make Bluefins, right? But they've changed them to, they're like, the one that's closest to this is, I think, I guess they're working with the bass angler, the Elite Pro Hank Cherry. and they have a signature series. So get the Hank Cherry ones, and get the copper lenses, and these are the bluefin. But don't just get the bluefin. Go find a dealer. Find a dealer, because if you get one that doesn't really fit your face and they're like, oh, those are the ones that Jeff said, I don't know, your face is shaped different, go to a dealer. I was at a show and I tried on lots of different ones, and these are the ones that fit my face. By fitting your face, what I mean is that it gives you the coverage you want, but it doesn't crowd your cheekbone or ride high, you know, above when you put your hat down, or I don't know. There's a lot of things at play there to making sure it fits, and different shaped faces need different frames. But for sure, the Hobie Sightmaster lenses, they're the happiest I've been with any polarized lens. So last time I did a wet launch, meaning I submerged the trailer in order to just float it off. But I also wanted to be able to show you with these trailers, with the rock and rollers, you can dry launch. If you don't want to get your feet wet, you really don't have to. So I've pulled up, I'm probably 3 foot shy of the water's edge here. Let me show you what that looks like. Pushes easy right up to the edge there. Let's slide right in. My feet are dry. That being said, I like getting my feet wet. But I get my feet wet as soon as I'm not tromping around in my truck. So having your feet being dry is a good thing if you're worried about getting mud on the floor mats. So here's my starting point, and the Swag LT, I guess this is the 6. It's an ounce, what is it, an ounce and a quarter bait. What I'm doing, I'm in the middle of this pool, and it's relatively shallow everywhere, but there's nothing that's really coming up to the surface in terms of a ledge line or a riffle, anything like that. There's moderate current throughout, and most of it's like 3 feet deep. So I'm fan casting with the Swag LT. If they're out here, they're going to know that this is here because I'm fan casting. So I'm moving forward at 1.7 mile per hour, and I'm casting left, right, middle, and then I move up more, and then it's left, right, middle, and then I move up more. It's left, right, middle. So it's a way, you know, cast up at a 45 to the left, and then cast up at a 45 to the right, and then cast straight upstream, then left, right, middle. And it helps you pare down water. It helps you figure out, you know, if they're out here, if there's a group of fish out here, even if they don't eat it, they're gonna bump this thing. Like it's a big bait that gets their attention. It has, as they say, they that we all listen to, they say it has drawing power, meaning it draws fish out to investigate, to say, what is that? What is that? Oh, let's go check it out. I don't really feel like eating, but I gotta know what that is. It made a big noise. What's that? Drawing power. I think that's all it amounts to, really. Draws them out, gets their attention. I'm going to switch to something a little more subtle than the Swag LT. I'm going to throw that, this one's a 6-inch scented jerk shad, and just move slow myself, and also move slow with the reel. Oh, I just spooked one out really shallow. that was on that creek mouth gravel dump. And that thing, as soon as it hit, let me loosen that drag a little bit, because that's a nice fish. Likes to jump. He's a big, real thick one. There's a little bit of grass here out in front of this. Man, that's a solid one. Solid first fish on the 6-inch scented shad. Let me come off that motor, make getting this guy in a little easier. Man, that was a fun. Was that fun for you? He's shaking his head no. He said, no, that was not fun for me, Jeff. Man, I enjoyed that thoroughly. I enjoyed seeing the reverse wake of this fish go shooting at this as soon as it landed, and I enjoyed reeling into the weight. Yes. Yeah. You smell nice. See you later. You know what? I thought I picked up the 6. This is actually the 7. The 7 shiner. I made some different heads. I went up a size. Went with a 3/0 for whatever reason. I said, I'm gonna pour some 3/0 instead of 2s. And I also messed around with the powder coat. Made that color maybe not so strikingly bright white, because the bright white contrasts with this kind of tan belly. So, but yeah, that worked out. We're gonna make location observations. Creek mouth is up in there. It's just a trickle now. This is the creek mouth gravel dump, and this is all, I think, relatively still up in there. There is current rolling through, but it's very blended. The real current is right here next to me, and this is about 3, maybe 3.5 feet. I don't know what it is up in there, but that fish was into that blend to like no current back there and swift current out here, and there's not a really tight current seam until you get up there. I bet you there's a bunch of fish on it though. But you know, to say that that fish was in the eddy of a creek mouth gravel dump is true, but this time of year, what is an eddy? I mean, there's so much flat, nothing water. I'll put it right back in there. Moving it slow. You got friends? I mean, I didn't move it towards me at all by the time that fish was moving. That was just touching the bottom. It was one of those, he met it at the surface, which is fantastic. It was fun. Like, they're looking in the air. They want to see, they're looking for dragonflies, cicadas. They're looking for things that are going to swoop down and eat them, maybe. But they're looking up, and when that morsel came down, he met it right at the surface before any other fish could. What's going on here? Remember, when you're fishing these and swimming them, look for that line twist, because they'll get you. I'm going to undo a little bit of line twist that's still on the reel yet. The best thing you can do, there's some movement. The best thing that you can do to prevent the line twist, I mean, I just showed you how to get rid of it once it's started, but is to move it slowly. The keel weight of that hook fights to keep it from like rolling up on its side and eventually corkscrewing. Or reel it as fast as you can if you're done with a cast. Reeling it really slow or really fast is just a good way to reduce the line twist. We started with me doing a little tackle crafting, making those jig heads for this little guy, and what have I added? What have I added to the llama tube with my bristle guard? And you know, this is, I think this one's the 8th. It's that little tail. It's one of their micro baits. You know, maybe I throw it in there where some of those other fish were. Oh, that was one tugging at it. You know, that maybe we're too scared to take on a 7-inch center jerk shad. It's gonna rain, and then it's not, and then it's gonna rain. Good thing is, it isn't particularly warm, so I won't be roasting in this jacket. Fan casting with the billy goat, but the concentrations that I've found this time of year are almost always grass beds or whitewater, and I got a little whitewater coming up. Not aggressive whitewater, but something. Yeah, I'm being lulled into fishing non-grassy areas, or at least minimal grass. Oh, there's one. GoPro, start recording. GoPro, start recording. All right. It's good that I was lulled into fishing. I see some grass because that's a big fish. Come on, you. Come on, big head. Yeah, there's some grass over here. Yep, very cool. Man, I was getting ready to turn on the jets and buzz out of here. And I'm sort of glad I didn't, because this is a chunk. Look at that. I was really getting ready to leave. We're gonna see what he is. I think he's probably just a really thick 18er. Bite me. Yeah, he's over 18, but he's not gonna go 18 1/4. So 18 1/8, whatever. Beautiful fish. Hitting the billy goat in the rain. Very cool. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. All right, I switched to the Swag LT, and yeah, that's a nice big fish up in this current, and you can see that the bait is separated from the hook. Nice. That's probably the right day to throw that bigger bait, and you can see that hook that was in the belly, got him right on the corner. Clearly there's some grass around. Yeah, that worked out. That's the first good one. That's actually the first. This is the first fish on the larger Swag LT. Get you back in the water. All right, I'm dipping him to let him breathe. Although it's not a real bad day for this, because the overcast is kind of keeping it cool. Yeah, he's bigger than the other one. Can you go 18 1/2? No, I'm gonna say he is 18 1/4. Ooh, hi. He's still lively. I gotta give you a sniff before I let you. You're eating a little everything. There's some craw stank. See you later, dude. Some minnow stank, some bug stank. Maybe even a little catfish fry. Some mad top action. I swear, you smell the breath, you know what to throw. Alright, let's look at where he was from. maybe we need to look at the fact that, like, that's a long pool behind me, long unbroken pool. This is the head of it. This is where it begins. So, you know, if you zoom up there, that ledge is the upper limit of it. And they can push up in there, and I haven't fished it yet, but he was back a little bit in this sort of blended water. But, you know, he was near some current seams and not incredibly deep. He wasn't right here, but that's like, that rock's 2 feet deep. You can see there is good current. There was a little bit of grass in the area. But overall, the macro view for sure matters, and we're at the head of a pool, heads and tails of pools, which I will have to drag up through there. Heads and tails of pools are important, and they're worth taking extra time with. It's that acceleration or deceleration of water. It's speeding up or slowing down. It's worth paying attention to. So this water has a little bit more turbulence and, I would say, aggressiveness to it. And the bait with more motion makes sense in water with more motion. That big wedge slash hybrid boot tail gives this bait a lot of bounce, a lot of floppy side to side wobble, and you know, that 18.25 was right on the edge of this. So, you know, if it's quiet, linear flow, you probably want a linear soft plastic bait to roll through there. If it's turbulent flow, you probably want all that bounce and wobble. You ever have those days where you know the right bait to catch the most and the biggest fish is this bait, but you're like, it doesn't matter, I want to catch them on this bait? Well, that's kind of where I'm at with the llama tube, and I'm at a place where I'm going to catch them because there's a current seam with a foam edge, and like, it is a pinpoint sort of place to say, there's going to be active feeding fish right here, and it's just in this riffle on a current seam. There's going to be fish in there somewhere, and a bait this small does not have drawing power. They don't come running to check this out. But if it tumbles in front of their little brown bass noses, they're going to eat. They're going to eat that. Whereas, you know, the bait that has the drawing power, like what I had going over there. Yes, I caught one, but I also had 2 fish right after that mess with it and not eat it. Did it draw them out? Yes. Did it get them to commit to the eat? No, they just messed with it. And this is a bait they won't mess with. There is no messing with it. Any interaction with it is putting it all the way in your mouth because it's small. Okay, first fish on the llama tube is a dink. One on the green pumpkin, but like, it had to sit there a long time for him to pick it up. Yeah, green pumpkin. Llama tubes. It's a start. Alright. I am not getting many bites with the llama tube, and I think it's just a condition of I'm not covering much water, and they're slow presentations with a small bait. but you know, I'm getting a feel for what this can do, and thus far what this can do is go anywhere and not get snagged. I've not, I don't want to tell you it hasn't got snagged, but it hasn't got snagged to the point where I have to motor over to it to lift it out at all. And you know, I'm being stubborn to gain the experience with this bait, and what it feels like on bottom. What, you know, what grass feels like because I just threw it next to grass. What the rocks feel like if the rock I just passed. What everything, you know, so I can make more heads that are better for this particular bait. But man, not snaggy, like not even a little bit, which is that's a little bit better one on the tube. I had a real precise place to put it rather than just broadcast, you know, casting like I've been doing with bigger baits. I just want to catch fish on the tube. That's all. Tube fish, respectable. What is respectable mean? I don't know. About 13 and a half. Alright. I want to catch more big fish. I'm going to put this away. This is going to catch lots of big fish as it gets cooler. So I'm going to try and do this. I don't know if this is going to work with the rain, but we're going to look upstream. The ledge was right back there. This was my first, hey, I gotta go check it out target, and the fish that I did catch is right above it. But let's look at the bank. Looks like partway to the bank there's some disturbances. There's grass on this side of it. Is that linear? Does that continue across? A little bit. If we move upstream, all I'm looking for is these disturbances. There's something, right? And it does go most of the way to the bank. Actually, it probably connects to those rocks. This side, looking for more surface disturbances. And it's just kind of generally like shallow like this. Like, I'm not seeing, you know, big stuff. I saw a little bit more there. So I think I'm gonna go in this direction. Looking back here, I just didn't see it. It just looked shallow and gravelly and some grass, but like nothing really dynamic there. My dynamic stuff here is on this bank, and you can see part of it in that rock, and that extends out into the middle. Hopefully that tells you what I'm looking at. How I make decisions on, do I go this way? No. Do I go this way? Yeah, there's something there worthwhile, and I'm reading the surface. That's all I'm doing. I'm in quieter water, I'm going to put away the noisy bait. And I don't mean noisy like, it's more that there's just a lot more motion. That's where I got, let's see, I got the 6-inch scented jerk shad. What else am I going to pull out? I'm going to pull the billy goat out, and you might say, hey, that's a pretty noisy, flashy, floppy bait. Yes, but it's in calm, slick water, so I'm not fishing it. No. I'm fishing it. That's we got the 18 and, well, the first one I got. Yeah, that 18 incher. So fish it less aggressively in slicker water. Yeah, I'm just not getting much action unless heads and tails of pulls, and big features like that. But back on the 7, this is interesting. This is the 7-inch scented jerk shad, and I retreated fast on the surface, and then I slowed it down and swam it. So that transition is when he decided to eat. So I think the fast swimming definitely got him interested, and then slowing it down, I'm gonna try that more. Slowing it down got him to T-bone it. Nice. This time of year, I get good snacks from the farm. Yep, just like that. There we go. Yep, another good one on the 7. Ooh, really good. Nice. 7-inchers. Catch. The boots. Nice. Another solid fish on that 7-incher. You look like you got some funky things going on with your eyeball, man. No wonder you were chasing these eyeballs. You're like, yeah, I could use a spare. Yours is kind of glazed over, like it got healed over. There's no pupil. You're missing the black part, dude. It's all green. Out of there. I don't think he's 18, but he's good one at 16 3/4. I thought you were bigger, but go get bigger. You can do it. All right, let's do a location look. I got quite a bit of just nothing, slick, calm, shallow, gravel, nothingness behind me. And we get up to here, for sure, significant shallow water disturbance. Not a ledge per se, but, you know, a rock structure of some sort that goes all the way across. And where it kind of opens out into, this is probably where I'm going to advance upstream, but kind of a current seam coming along here. He was right in this area. But again, macro view, there's a lot of slick water above it, a lot of kind of nothing water behind it, and this was the only linear, you know, thing that came near the surface. So, you know, with the exception of that first one on the billy goat, all the others have been near one of these current features, for sure. Have not found the grass bed that I'm like, oh, this is it, they're all here. Those can be in the middle, and they can be really productive. They can be away from this sort of feature, but I haven't found it yet. So I'm gonna keep moving. I'm gonna run up to the next example is I'm gonna fish the upstream side of it, because that push water is sometimes where the biggest ones are. So I feel like this 3/0 hook is working out really good. I've had some really good hookup, good hookup percentage so far today on the 7, which is a lot of plastic. And I think I went with the 2 because I was thinking, hey, there's going to be a lot more bottom bouncing going on, and there really hasn't been. Not when I'm fishing it like this, which is launch it out there, fast, and then swim it. Come here, you like the 7? Alright, I've gone well above the top of that ledge for that last dynamic system, but I still have some dynamic flow out here in the middle, and I think some of it's grass bed based, which is good. Some of it's just isolated rocks, but the 7 continues to shine. With that, that fast and then slow presentation. Another nice one. Yeah, nice 16 3/4 incher on the 7. So the ledges or whatever it was is down there. I've come above and I'm seeing isolated rocks like that. That 16 3/4 was on, I don't know if you can see this surface disturbance here. It's pretty subtle, but there's something there. Yeah, right beneath the surface there's a rock of some sort. It's not a huge target, but it was good for that fish. And just a little bit deeper depression downstream from that rock. He was in this little pit right here. Not much of a feature, but you know, yeah. Everywhere else is like a foot deep. That's 2.5 feet right here because of this rock. Reading the surface. That's what it is. So it was all shallow, fairly swift and flat. But here I'm getting into, I can see a trench right in front of me. I think there's going to be some good fish if it starts doing like this with the bottom. Yeah, like it. I reached way out for long cast to a single trail of foam. That's a nice fish. We're going to look at this trail of foam here in just a moment. It's coming into view actually. Come here. I don't think you're getting off that. The quickest, easiest way to relieve is the net. That is your path of least resistance. You're not interested, are you? Nice. Alright, I'll let you breathe, buddy. Okay. Let's look at that beauty. The 7 gets him. The 7 has drawing power, but is subtle. And I think it's interesting how my use of this bait has evolved over the last several years that I've been using it. I started with skiing it, right? Nice, another 18, right on 18. Go ahead and let him back in and talk a little bit more about the evolution of my, trying different stuff with the 7-inch Senta jerk shad. The bottom line is that it's a big bait and it gets their attention. What you do with it, you do a lot of things with it. I started with just skiing it on the surface, and that allowed me to cover a lot of water very quickly. Then I started slow swimming it in the colder months, and that was really effective. I mean, I used super lightweight and and that was very different. And then recently it's been just it's been about this speed, a mid speed, so a fast, a super slow, and a mid, and now changing it up from fast to mid. That's working. All right, let's take a look at this isolated target that I was nowhere near. I made a super long cast to get to it. There's some guys coming down fly fishing. Check it out. Let him have that bank and I'll stay over on this side. But that little disturbance there, I was actually way over here. And I made a long cast to that disturbance right there. Entered on this side, ripped it fast to the mid part, and then started moving it, medium speed, whatever that is, with the spinning reel. It's kind of medium slow. Shallow water. and I'm seeing the reverse wakes come out as they're hitting these. I missed two good ones. This one isn't bad. This one's looks like 15. It's not 15. Maybe it's a little more. But I had one come up and run at it and not eat it, and like should have caught that one. He never had it in his mouth, and I swung on it prematurely. But I waited for the weight on this one. I stand by it. 15. Yeah. I'm showing you this. The one I missed was back there. The 15 I got was over here. I just missed another one, but real shallow. I mean, it's probably 3 feet here, 1.5 feet there, and up there, I don't know. But when I throw the center jerk shad in there, every time I'm seeing the reverse wakes, which makes it exciting. So glad to be on this bank. That's a little one on the tube as a follow-up, but I know the bigs will eat that little tube. I have much prior experience with that happening. You know, I think it's still worth working a second time just to see, all right, what exactly was it that I was missing. And yeah, that was another small fish that got it. Right? Grabbed the part of the billy goat and then just couldn't manage to choke it all down. I mean, decent, but yeah, that's not. It isn't a big fish. Ouch. So, like the llama tube, this small minnow profile is just an automatic eat. Like, if they see it, they're gonna eat it. And it's nice to have some automatics. Well, that one's not as small. Actually, that's a pretty good one. GoPro, start recording. Yeah, I'm not totally surprised that this is a big fish that I just hooked, because, you know, there's been a lot of slashing at bigger baits and not connecting, although I'm doing pretty good on the 7, but this is what I was hoping for the whole time I came up that bank. A big fish up shallow that I get to see the reverse wake, and I totally just got to see it, and he ate it. He ate it. Anyhow, just because it's a small bait doesn't mean you're not going to catch some big fish. This particular bait, the 4-inch scented jerk shad, has caught the biggest one that I've ever caught in my life out in Idaho. So let's get a measurement on this guy. It's fun to see that reverse wake and see him blast the 4-inch scented jerk shad. So yeah, another 18 plus. This one 18.5. So biggest of the day on the small bait. Nice. Go ahead and let her back in. So there are baits that have drawing power, and then there are baits that have automatic eat. And in between, there's, there's sort of a blend. And the 4-inch scented jerk shad, the llama tubes, if they see it, it's an automatic eat. I don't even think about it. The answer's yes. So what's interesting about this shallow water gravel, I can't call it a bank because it's sort of an island out there, is the big fish interactions were all the way at the downstream side and now all the way at the upstream side. And in between, lots of numbers of, they were small fish. So, I don't know. It's an interesting observation. Heads and tails. Heads and tails. Heads and tails. Got you in the head. Now you're slapping your tail. So I had to retie because I think that 18.5 really wrapped me around some shallow rocks and just chewed up the line. But it's interesting to consider, when do you go with the automatic eat and when do you go with drawing power? It's, I think, early in the day, or if the weather dictates, like, hey, there's a lot of wind, or it just started raining like crazy, drawing power. Times when they're less active, and some people really get into the salooner things when you're not at your salooner peaks. I think that's when you go to the automatic eats and hope you got a location that there's a bunch of fish that you can get an automatic one close to. Otherwise, you're kind of throwing darts in the dark. Alright, I got an observation about this spot before we leave it. I keep saying I'm going to leave it. Yes, it's the head, but that's maybe 4.5 foot deep water, and that right up there is like 4.5 inches of water. It's pretty shallow until you get to that rock. There's a rock like right here. What that shallow area has is very quick access to deep water. Oh, nice. Yeah, this is the bank I didn't get to. And it's a good one on Billy Goat. It's shallow. Yes. We get another 18. Oh yeah. I put it right on the bank and let it out. Nice. Nice fish. You thought you had a terrestrial morsel. Some hapless frog that wandered off the bank and into your domain. Let's see what you are. Oh, 17 and a half. 17 and a half. Nice. It was in shallow water with quick access to deep water. Some depth out here in the middle of this pool, and it is a mistake to totally ignore the middle part of the pool, but if you're gonna fish it, you're gonna move along until you see a little disturbance. Like I got one right here. I'm not gonna fish it, but that, whatever that is. Well, that's a stick. and there's a larger log there. So out in the middle, I'm really going to be looking for the, the mid-pool ledges to come up and get near the surface, but I don't know. I think it's easier just to run up. I really don't see a lot out here in front of me. Might be running a little while to find some dynamic flow. I have not caught anything in a while. I'm in this long, slick, nothing looking. It's a huge pool. I'll show you. I mean, I've been in it a while, and it just keeps going. I mean, being here, absolutely. Where? I got no idea. It's like I need rock to help me figure out where these fish are at. I mean, there's rock, but nothing dramatic. I would love a bunch of grass bed. I'm gonna run up here a little longer, see if I can find some grass. If not, time to turn around and head back. Tie on a baby jack, catch them that way. Haven't done that today. All right, I don't know how many miles I got to go back down. I guess at least 4. I really spent a lot of time in that one area, so maybe it's not even 4. In any case, I got a game plan. I'm gonna stay on the motor. I'm gonna throw the baby jack. If I get a blow up and a miss, I'm gonna throw this 6-inch center jerk shad back in there as the follow-up bait. It's a big follow-up bait, but it'll probably weed out the dinks. Okay, first one on the baby jack. Not a bad one. He had friends in there. I'm gonna turn this around and hopefully hold position. This fish was like one of 6, and it was the first rocky outcropping that stuck out into the river a little bit. So nice fish. I'll let you go. Yeah, right in there. So I put this UV protectant stuff on like everything on this kayak. It was last night, and I did the plastic track of the foot pegs, just the regular Select design ones, and man, are they smooth today. I like it. Easy steering. I missed one on the jackhammer, and this was a follow-up. I can't tell you that it's the same fish, but it was same area. Follow-up bait is important, and that 6-inch center jerk shad is thick. That one feels substantial. Yep. On the 7-inch center jerk shad. Oh, nice jump. Very nice. Put down the baby jack just because I looked at the spot. I said it deserves something a little bit subtler. Not that the 7-inch center jerk shad is subtle, but it's a slow presentation. I had a hit and it tugged at the tail or did something to it, and you fully ate this thing, man. And I threw back in and I got him. So it was the second go in this spot. Let's see if I can extract it from your jaw. Man, you turned it all the way around. Yeah. So the baby jack's getting some action. I still have more faith in the 7-inch center jerk shad. This one is 17 and a quarter. And we're about done with this particular pool before, before it takes off. There's actually a riffle right there and starts a new pool. So we're at the terminus of the pool. And I've just spooked the entire area on bumping the throttle. I should know better. They don't know how big they are until they get close. Not big. Remove this thing from your face? No, I can't. You don't want me to. I could do it. God, I can't. Need some pliers. The baby jack holds them pretty good. Sorry, dude. Yep. See. So that last one, I don't know, it was probably 16 and a half or so. I didn't even measure them, but it was associated with an isolated little deep trench. Not crazy deep, but like probably 4.5, and most of the water around, you know, upstream, downstream, left and right is like you can stand in it and your kneecaps stay dry. So I never really found that mega mat of vegetation, but right now I'm around some good patches. You know, just it hasn't gone to the surface or anything, but the grass means so much to these fish. Come here, you. Bottom size. K2 football. Yep. You probably don't like it as much as I like it. I like it a lot. Nice. That's a real nice one. Oof. Yeah, it kind of slid up there. Such a good hook. Yeah, that's the larger one I was messing with the 7. And yeah, that's another one worth putting on a board. Let's see what you are. Maybe we won't. Alright. Ooh, 17 and 3/4. I think that brings my total today to 90 and a half. 90 and a half. See you later. It's been an excellent day. I think for sure the hero of the day, the thing that I'm just most excited about, that I just know is catching big fish consistently. And it, you know, is the 7-inch center jerk shad in that shiner color. It's just a gorgeous looking, it's just a great color. It's been a great color with the small ones. And really enjoying throwing it. In the big one, it's hard on a day like this where it's overcast all day, fog, low ceiling, whatever you want to call it, to know, hey, when's the sun gonna set? Well, the sun never rose, but I think I'm gonna run out of light here soon. I don't know how soon. I haven't looked it up, but I got one more thing to navigate right down here, so I want to keep fishing these. There is grass here. I think the first 18 was right over there this morning. Should be some fish in that foam. Yep. Oh, yep. Nice. Pretty good one. It seems. Yep, that's a, oh yeah, that's a strong one. How big are you? I can't see it. Good one. It's almost dark and still hitting me. Baby Jack. Yes. Oh, nice. Let's fish it all the way till it's dark. Is that a good eat spot for you? Nice. About a 16er. Oh, yep. You have some staying power. Nice size fish. It's almost dark. Still getting bigs. It's almost dark. The baby Jack keeps racking up solid fish. Let's see what this guy was. Another 17 and a quarter. See ya. They're loaded up in this riffle. You know, the jackhammer has a good hook that holds them, and the baby jack is just as well. That's cool. I need to do myself a favor and get out of here, because I don't totally remember where that, I mean, I know there's a creek mouth gravel dump, and then it's somewhere down there on the left. I'm at ease on the river at night, but I don't need to make this any more difficult on myself. Pretty big ramp though. Still chucking and winding. All right, let's do a wrap up. I would say the big concept for this trip was making appropriate decisions based on, do you need a lot of drawing power? In other words, a bait that enters in a way and moves through an area in a way that fish move to it to check it out? Or do you need something that's an automatic eat? And this got the biggest one today. At 18 and a half inches, automatic eat. This Llama tube is also an automatic eat. You put it in front of them. The trade-off is that you're not going to be seen by a lot of fish. So you have to have a pretty good idea that, yep, that's the spot. That's where the fish are. Either you've already caught one, or you can see them, or something to tell you that, yeah, the bait doesn't have much presence, but if it is noticed, it will be eaten. And you know, I think the difference for me is if I know there's a fish there, I have a really good idea if the fish is there, I'm going for the automatic eat. If I don't, and I'm searching, or if, like, right at the end of the day, the low light period thing, and even early in the day, this was a good search bait. This caught, I'd say, most of the really good ones, and this one has some drawing power for sure, the 7-inch scented jerk shad. But basically, automatic eat if you know there's fish there, and otherwise rely on some drawing power where you don't necessarily know there's fish there, or they're actively feeding, like what we had right at the end of the day. So, good day. Thanks for watching.